On any oil and gas production facility, the lead production engineer has a lot on his mind. He's got to monitor and evaluate production levels, manage existing assets and plan for new ones. And then there's work over design and execution, cost estimations, budgeting, hundreds of regulations to consider, meetings and more meetings with service companies, commercial managers, geoscientists and reservoir engineers. That's a lot of hats to wear, and that's just what's happening above ground. A production engineer must also be an expert on what's happening below the surface, each and every process. For example, reservoir properties, pressures, flow rates, decline curves, each and every piece of equipment for tens or even hundreds of wells, not to mention continuous process improvement, which requires ongoing monitoring, troubleshooting, optimizing and implementation. No two wells are the same. Each has its own set of physical conditions which require the well to be drilled, completed and produced uniquely, so that we can get the oil and gas out of the ground in the most efficient manner possible. There are lots of ways and methods of doing this, so the method you choose will be determined by the conditions, but once you've got the oil flowing, the priority is to keep it flowing, to optimize productivity while reducing capital expenditure. And the most important benchmark of doing this is minimizing downtime, because when the oil stops flowing, everything comes to a shuddering halt. When an electrical submersible pump system is the preferred method of artificial lift, a higher level of planning and expertise is required. ESPs are made up of hundreds of components, large and small, each of which must be handled and maintained properly from the moment the individual parts are manufactured until the ESP has been disassembled and an understanding of the failure mechanism has been achieved. Even the smallest error in roughness on a sealing face or chip in a bearing can mean the difference between a successful run and a catastrophic failure. The experience and time required for such a high level of oversight is not easy to come by, and when things go wrong, you need a team on your side, a team with your interests at heart. And that's where we come in. We are ALS, your ESP support team. We offer third-party expertise to optimize your artificial lift projects and ensure that you get the most out of your equipment. Your operating expense is highly dependent on ESP run life. If we can double ESP run life, then operating expense is essentially cut in half over that respective period. So what is required to increase ESP run life? In other words, what can ALS do for you? We are here to ensure ESP optimization from the cradle to the grave. Through decades of experience in oil fields across the globe, we are able to advise and implement best practices that will mitigate failures, increase ESP run life, and save you money. Our priority is our customer, and our currency is our reputation, meaning your success is our success. You keep things flowing above ground, let us keep it flowing below.